Peace and love to everybody. Welcome to Heru Study Hall. Today I'm going to be sharing a guide for the study and teaching of African world history. Um, and I'm going to go through all each and every session with y'all, but I'm gonna make a playlist that's dedicated to this particular subject matter at hand. So with that being said, here's the book. If y'all don't have the book already, I would highly recommend that you go purchase this book. Very, very good read. It's From the Nile Valley to the New World: Science, Inventions, and Technology, New Dimensions in African History by Dr. Yosef Ben-Jochannan and Dr. John Henry Clarke. So, with that being said, let me see. And y'all can go right to the page 141, if y'all want to read along with me. All right. This reading guide is designed as an introduction to African world history, which will stimulate a continuous study of the subject. In the 30 sessions outlined here, African history and its relationship to world history will be explained. The reading guide will start with an examination of the evidence that tends to prove that mankind originated in Africa. Special attention will be paid to all the main currents of African history, such as Africa at the dawn of history and the beginning of organized societies, the decline of the great nation states of Africa, and the development of the slave trade, colonialism, and African resistance. Okay, and if y'all got the book, y'all can follow right along with me because this Heru Study Hall, you feel me? We learn it together. Additional sessions outlined as a teacher-student seminar, such subjects as the role of the Arabs in Africa, the role of women in early independent African nations, and a detailed study of how and why the slave trade came will be included. Okay, let's keep it pushing. Oh, do I got this in bold print? Hold on, let me put this in bold print. Hold on. Oh, it is. My bad. African history, no, or rational, right? African history is part of world history. It is a very old part and it is a very important part. There's no way to understand world history without an understanding of African history. A distinguished African American poet, County Cullen, began his poem, Heritage, with the question, what is Africa to me? In order to understand Africa, we must extend the question by asking, what is Africa to Africans and what is Africa to the world? Well, y'all can write these questions, some good questions, right? With these questions, we will be calling attention to the need for a total reexamination of African history. Considering the old approach to African history and the distortion and confusion that resulted from these approaches, a new approach to African history must begin with a new frame of reference. What exactly are we talking about? Rational part two. And go get this. This is a good. Go get this book by Richard B. Moore, The Name Negro: The Origin and Evil Use. I got this book. Go get this book. It's a good read. You know, it's good. Just some books be good just to have in your library where you can just grab at any time and just kick back and just comb through it. You know. But check this out, right? We must be bold enough to reject such terms as Black Africa, which presupposes that there is a legitimate white Africa. We must reject the term Negro Africa and the word Negro and all that it implies. This word, like the concept of race and racism, grew out of the European slave trade and the colonial system that followed. It is not an African word and it has no legitimate application to African people. For more details on this matter, I recommend that you read the book The Word Negro: Its Evil Origin and Evil Use. Its Origin and Evil Use by Richard B. Moore, American History. The Caribbean American writer Richard B. Moore has observed, shown on the next slide. Rationale, part three, right? The significance of African history is shown, though not overtly, in the very effort to deny anything worthy of the name of history of Africa and the African peoples. This widespread and well nigh successful endeavor, maintained through some 5 centuries, to erase African history from the general record, is a fact which of itself should be quite conclusive to thinking in open minds. For it is logical and apparent that no such undertaking would ever have been carried on and at such length in order to obscure and bury what is actually of little or no significance. The prime significance of African history becomes still more manifest when it is realized that this deliberate denial of African history arose out of the European expansion and invasion of Africa, which began in the middle of the 15th century. The compulsion was thereby felt to attempt to justify, such colonialist conquest, domination, enslavement, and plunder. Hence, this brash denial of history and African, this brash denial of history and culture to Africa, and indeed even the human qualities and capacity for civilization to the indigenous people of Africa. So this the book right here. The name Negro is Origin of Evil Use. That's the author right there. Richard Reed Moore, get the book. Please go get the book. If you can, go get it. If you know somebody that got it, see if they let you borrow it. It's a good read. You read? Let's keep it pushing. Rationale number 4. Mr. Moore is saying, in essence, that African history must be looked at anew and seen in its relationship to world history. First, the distortions must be admitted. The hard fact is that most of what we now call world history is only the history of the first and second rise of Europe. The Europeans are not yet willing to acknowledge that the world did not wait in darkness for them to bring the light, and that the history of Africa was already old when Europe was born. Let's keep it pushing. Until quite recently, it was rather generally assumed, even among well educated persons in the West, that the continent of Africa was a great expanse of land, mostly jungle, inhabited by savages and fierce beasts. It was not thought of as an area where great civilizations could have existed, or where the great kings of these civilizations could have in might and wisdom over vast empires. It is true. It is true that there were some notions current about the cultural achievements of Egypt, but Egypt was conceived of as European land rather than as a country of Africa. Even if a look at an atlas or globe showed Egypt to be in Africa, the popular thought immediately saw in the Sahara a formidable barrier and convenient division of Africa in two parts, shown in the next slide. Now, one, right, north of the Sahara was inhabited by European like people who, excuse me, let me start over. One, which is in the north of the Sahara, was inhabited by European like people of high culture and noble history. The other, south of the Sahara, was inhabited by dark skinned people who had no culture and were incapable of having done anything in their dark and distant past that could be dignified by the designation of history. Such ideas, of course, are far from the truth, as we shall see. But it is not difficult to understand why they persisted and unfortunately still persist in one form or another in the popular mind. Okay? Okay. Let's keep it pushing. The objective of this reading guide is to examine African history and its relationship to world history before and after the slave trade and the colonial period. Okay? In most cases, the instructor should develop the subject of the sessions and place the information that relates to it in proper perspective so that a meaningful discussion can follow among the students and with the instructor. In these discussions, the subject should be viewed from many sides, and a comparison should be made between what the instructor has said and what was written in the required and general references relating to the subject. In these sessions, the students will be expected to participate in the discussions following the formal lecture. If there are contradictions between what is said in the required readings and what is said by the instructor, these contradictions should be the basis for a class discussion. So this could be in a classroom, this could be in a household, this could be like in a group setting or a book club, etc., or any type of setting where y'all learning. You know what I mean? And that's what motivated me to want to type this up and share this because I know this gonna help a lot of people that's interested in African world history. Now, relevance for the student. This bold new look at the origin and development of African history and African people is both historical and topical. These sessions will answer some current questions because the historical background to these questions will be looked at in a more honest and creative way. In the process of this approach to the history of African people, it is hoped that the student will take another look at world history and see how Africans relate to it. The teacher of this subject should maintain that all history is a current event because every event in history in some way still affects all mankind. In these sessions, both the instructor and the students should examine the great personalities, movements, and events in history and their relevance for today. Y'all can go get that book right there. They Came Before Columbus. That's a very good book. Ivan Van Sertima. Okay. So now here's some of the sessions that we're gonna be getting into. Okay. Here's some of the sessions we're gonna be getting into. We're gonna be dealing with Africa's place in world history from the origin of man to 1600 AD. Okay. Okay. So the first session, right? Why African history? Y'all can write this down, screenshot it. This is our assignment, y'all. Number two, why the conflict over African history? Number three, the relationship of African history to world history. Okay, let's keep it pushing. So we got why African history. These are just some pictures I put together. Why the conflict over African history? As you can see, this bust of Nefertiti. You see how they try to see this fake little Nefertiti right here? Y'all see it. And then the relationship between African history and world history. So as you can see, you see the Buddha. You see our brothers and sisters in India. You feel me? Shout out Renoko Rashidi. Do I got it next to me? I don't think so. But it's a book called African Star in the East or something like that. But look up Renoko Rashidi book dealing with because he got a chapter like India through African eyes. You feel me? So let's keep it pushing. You feel me? I believe she's in the Americas right here. This I believe is the Mayans. It's the ancient Kemetic, brothers. You know what I'm saying? I believe they are these people, these folks right down here with this Caucasoid behind them. I believe I don't know if they're in Australia. I forgot. My bad, I forgot. But yeah, this one on the right here with them with all that woolly hair. This in Japan. I think this is in I think this in India. No, this is in Australia too. I think. But yeah, and my apologies. I should have wrote down the exact locations. My apologies. But y'all might recognize those pictures. Y'all might know. Let me know in the comments. Or let the family know in the comments. So now here's some of the main references. Okay. Here are some of the main references. Okay. First reference: Africans and Their History by Joseph B. Harris. You're gonna want to read pages 1 to page 25. Okay. Y'all can go. I don't personally. I don't have this book. So if anybody had this book, please if y'all want to put something in the comments and kind of share what you might have learned from that book, or if y'all want to read page 1 to 25 and then kind of give like a brief little summary in the comments or whatever the case, or just do it for yourself. You know what I mean? But the goal is my goal before I go to the next slide. My goal is to bring people together that want to learn. You know what I'm saying? Learn together. You know what I'm saying? It's a level playing field. I'm a lifelong student. I'm not a teacher. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to share information and sources of information. And some of these books I do have, and I may even actually, I'm gonna make a playlist. And some of these, I'm gonna record like an audio of me reading some of these books, just in case y'all might not have the book. Y'all can just come to my video, or y'all can look up the audio book on whatever other platforms, or y'all can whatever works for y'all. I'm trying my best to help to the best of my ability. The next one is African History Outline by Carter G. Woodson, pages 3 to 19. Okay, I don't have this book personally. If you have this book, if you want to go ahead and read page 3 to 19, feel free. If you want to come back, and then come back in the comments and kind of share what you got from it, feel free. You know what I'm saying? Then this next book right here is African History by Philip D. Curtin. I don't have this book either, but if anybody has this book, if y'all want to read pages 1 through 12, feel free to do so, and then you can drop something in the comments and let me know what you think. Now here's some suggested references. Okay, now I got this book right here, and I'm gonna read. I read the introduction, but I'm gonna reread the introduction. Introduction to African Civilizations by John G. Jackson is a amazing book. It's a great read. It's so much information in that book. I ain't even gonna spoil it, but yeah, pages 3 to 35 in this book. So here's another reference right here. Shout out Basil Davidson. Look him up. Y'all can look him up on YouTube. He got it's videos of him in Africa. You know what I'm saying? African History by Basil Davidson, pages 1 through 20. And then there's another book. I added this just to add it. The Lost Cities of Africa. And then let me see where we at next. Now for a more extensive study, and I had to put I had to put the pictures up. I had to. I got this book right here. African Origins and Civilization, Myth or Reality by Sheikh Anta Diop. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can go get that. I don't have this book, but if you have it, let me know what you think. Civilization or Barbarism by Sheikh Anta Diop. You feel me? Y'all can go get that. I got this book actually right next to me. Black Man of the Nile and His Family by Dr. Yosef Ben-Jochannan. Y'all can go get that book. Very, very. When I've read this book, oh my goodness, like this was. I used to hear so much about this book, and when I bought it, I just couldn't put it down. I've read front to back. I can then show you the pictures in this book is so. I'm telling you, you might see some stuff you ain't never seen before in this book because I'm not mistaken, he took all them pictures. You know what I'm saying? But it's some great imagery and information in there, and the way that Dr. Ben writes his books, in my opinion, makes it a lot easier to read. In my honest opinion, if y'all read any of his books and you see how he put like certain fonts and stuff, you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, Black Man of the Nile and His Family. Here's another good book right here, The African Origins of Western Civilization by Dr. Yosef Ben Yakana. I got this book as well. I've read through this book. This book like six. How many? Oh, I got it right here. This book like damn near 600 pages. How many pages? No, it's like 720 plus pages. Let me see some. Let me see if y'all can see it. It's right here. Very very good. Very good read right here. Very very good read right here. I would highly recommend that y'all add that to your library, your sacred library. You know what I'm saying? And this one, The African Origins of Major Western Religions by Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanan. Again, I got this book as well, and again, a very good read. You learn. I'm telling you, if you just now getting started or you've been on this journey and you haven't read this book, you're gonna learn a lot of new stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the goal, let me say this: the goal of Heru Study Hall is for the elevation of consciousness of the people. You know what I'm saying? Period. So with that being said, let's keep it pushing. Next book, Christianity Before Christ by John G. Jackson. Shout out John the G. I should put the G Jackson. You feel me? Christianity Before Christ. Now I don't have this book. If any of y'all have this book, let me know. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. Next one. Man, God, and Civilization by John G. Jackson. Okay? Or the G Jackson. Let me correct myself. Man, God, and Civilization. I don't have this book. If y'all have this book, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments, please. But those are the suggested reads. Okay. Oh, my alarm going off. Hold on. So we're gonna come to a conclusion. I'm gonna do another video. What I'm gonna do, y'all, instead of doing like extremely long videos, I'm gonna try to keep it as concise as possible. But we're gonna get to the second session, and I'm gonna make a whole playlist dedicated to this reading guide for the study and teaching of African world history. So I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all took notes. I hope y'all plan on investing in some of that literature. I hope that if y'all have those books, I hope y'all take the time to kick your feet up, make a sandwich or something, or some potato chips or some tea or coffee or whatever, some wine, whatever floats your boat. You know what I'm saying? And just kick back and just read them books. And if you got notebooks, take some notes. But again, the goal is to not allow this study guide to go in vain. Because when I found this in the back of this book right here, that I don't know if y'all can see. Can you let me see? When I found this session, I'm like, oh, I'm not letting this go to waste. So I typed this up years ago, and I'm still working on it because I've been working on other stuff. But I'm gonna share like the sessions that I already did. Okay, so we're gonna end it here. I hope y'all enjoyed. We 20 minutes in. Hope this wasn't too long. And for future references, if y'all do want to, if y'all feel like my videos are too long, go to the settings, go to playback speed, and just increase the speed up a little bit to where you can still understand me, but it'll go a little faster. What else? I think that's about it. And I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up button. Comment, subscribe, share. Um, yeah. Much love to everybody. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I hope the rest of y'all day is the best y'all day. Peace.